Ms. Anderson, if you'll conduct roll call, please.
Director Beckett,
Here.
Director Walker,
I'm here.
Director Navarro Jr.,
Here.
Vice President Villanueva,
Here.
President Rice.
Here.
All right. We have interpretation services available from Andromeda Interpreting Services. If you're in person tonight and need translation services, we have translation devices you can use. Please check with, I said Ms. Anderson earlier, I meant Ms. Fiscus, for a device. And Ms. Fiscus, if you can raise your hand. And can we have that in Spanish?
Tenemos servicios de interpretación disponible. Si hay alguien que se lo necesitan, pueden hablar con Andy González. Levanta la mano, por favor. Muy bien. Para recibir esta maquinita para escuchar. Gracias.
Thank you. We are live streaming. We offer live stream options for this meeting in both English and Spanish. You can find the link on our webpage under Find It Fast or go directly to ysd7.org/board meetings. There are two options for public comment tonight. The first is on the first on the agenda is for topics on the agenda. The second one is for all other topics. Please be sure that you have signed up to speak. The form is on the podium by the entrance over here. Tonight's meeting is being recorded. If you're interested in past meetings, you can find a link on our webpage to the YSD YouTube channel to view previous meetings and this meeting. And for those who are presenting or speaking today, please speak slowly so our interpretation services can interpret what your comments are. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have a student from Eisenhower High School who will be leading us in the pledge. She is a junior at Eisenhower, Mackenzie Clemens. And she will also, following the Pledge of Allegiance, she'll recite the character word of the month. And we have Principal Diner who will introduce Mackenzie.
Good evening. My name is Janae Bourgeois, and I'm one of the assistant principals here at Eisenhower. Principal Diner is unable to be here tonight. I'd like to introduce to you all Mackenzie Clemens. She is a junior here at Eisenhower and next year's captain of our bowling team.
Hello, if everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would you like to read the character word of the month, please?
We're working on it. April's character word is adaptable, capable of being or becoming adapted, able to adjust to new conditions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, Mackenzie, and for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It can be a little nerve-wracking to do that in front of a group of people, so thank you for being here. Do board members like to comment or ask any questions to our student today?
I would just echo Director Villanueva and say thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it very much, and we hope that you have a fabulous rest of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, Mackenzie.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Next, we have the reading of the Yakima Land Acknowledgement, and President Rice is on the agenda to read that for us today. Have we resolved the audio issues, Ms. Fiscus?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Testing. Oh, good. Okay. Okay. The land acknowledgement. Today, the schools of the Yakima School District rest on the ancestral lands of the 14 confederated tribes and bands of the Yakima Nation. The people of the Yakima Nation inhabited more than 12 million acres across Adams, Benton, Chelan, Douglas, Franklin, Grant, Kittitas, Klickitat, and Yakima counties. Today, we honor those Native peoples who are tied to the land through history, legends, and culture. We acknowledge their descendants who live in the world today. We thank the caretakers of this land who have lived here and continue to live here since time immemorial. An acknowledgement is a simple, powerful way to show respect and a step toward correcting the stories and practices that erase Indigenous peoples' history and culture. It also honors the truth. As a school district, we will continue to build upon our relations with the Yakima Nation.
Thank you,
Thank you
President
for
Rice.
Thank you for the opportunity to read this evening.
We would like to welcome you again to our in-person meeting, who are here for the meeting today, and those who are here to be recognized by the board. Thank you to Eisenhower High School for the use of their auditorium tonight, as we're still practicing social distancing, and this is the largest meeting room we have to accommodate our meeting. Next, we have acknowledgement of accomplishments and recognitions. We have a winter sports recognition, and Director Beckett will read that for us.
Thank you, Director Villanueva. This requires some logistics, so work with me here. We're going to introduce a number of folks here in a few minutes, and if they're here, we would love to have you come up and receive your certificate. So I would ask people, as your name is read, please feel free to come this direction. Come on up. Everybody wants a fist bump. You can get your certificate, and then we're hoping for photos on this side over here. Is everyone with me? Is anyone there? Okay, good. So this is an acknowledgement of accomplishments and recognitions for our winter sports. The Board of Directors would like to recognize the following outstanding student athletes who placed at the WIAA State Championships for winter sports programs. From AC Davis Boys Wrestling Individual, Jesus Alcala. From the AC Davis Boys Swimming Team, first place, by the way, William Gamache, Chris Gutierrez, Caden Hogue, Mateo Monahan, Asa Norman, Julian Rivera, Coleman Russell, Zaid Romero, Naomi Sanchez, congratulations, Avery Strom, Lucas Tweedy, Jonathan Watson, Matt Watson, Peter Whitney, and their head coach, Carl Scott. Fabulous. Congratulations. Congratulations. Again, that's our first place Davis High School boys swimming team. While they're having their picture taken over there, I'd like to invite up the Eisenhower Boys Wrestling Individuals, Mateo Escobar and Damian Gama, and their head coach, Jared Doby. Please come on up. Pressure's on. Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations. Here we go. Also from Eisenhower High School, the girls wrestling individual, Celeste Limon, and head coach Justin Hastings. Congratulations. And the Eisenhower High School girls bowling team at fifth place, Laurel Hesseman, Haley Hammondtree, Mackenzie Clemens, Kaylin Jeffrey, Ada Curran, Ace Moore, Viviana Armijo, and head coach Chad Quisnell. Congratulations. Congratulations. Go.
Oh, congratulations. Way to go. Good job. Good job, Coach.
Can we have another round of applause for all of our athletes for recognition tonight? Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Yes, there was, is Coach Pham here for Davis Boys Wrestling? I missed a name, so I apologize, but thank you again and congratulations to all of our athletes.
Thank you, Director Beckett, and congratulations to all of the students, and thank you to coaches for all of your hard work supporting our students. Next on our agenda for acknowledgements and accomplishments is recognition for a couple of Yakima students who have been recognized by the Rolling Stones, and Mr. Camacho will be here to share a couple words about those two students.
I'm an assistant principal at Davis High School, and I'm here to introduce two Davis students that I've had the privilege to work with. Miss Yaritza and Jairo Martinez. They single release reaching #1 spots in many music charts all under a week. Yaritza and su esencia have been a trending topic in the Yakima Valley and in the country. Born and raised in Yakima, Washington, the Martinez siblings, 15-year-old Yaritza, 24-year-old Armando, and 17-year-old Jairo, were surrounded by music their whole lives. Yaritza, the main vocalist of the group, found her passion in singing at the tender age of 5. Behind her shy nature was a powerful voice that surprised her family when they heard her for the first time. It was just a matter of time before she embraced her talent and started to team up with her oldest brother and one of her biggest inspirations, Armando, singing as he played the keyboard or the guitar. At the age of 14, Yaritza learned to play the guitar and started to upload her videos on TikTok with her brother Jairo, who quickly found his passion in playing bass guitar. Soon enough, their video became viral, catching the attention of many people, Lumbre music record label being one of them. It did not take long for these talented siblings to get signed with Lumbre Music, and in record-breaking time, win the hearts of the people all over the country. Yaritza and su esencia have quickly climbed to the top, becoming the pride and joy of the valley. In a traditionally male-led genre, Yaritza is paving the way for young Latinas to break the barriers unapologetically. Growing up with the struggles of all immigrants' children face, Yaritza and her siblings have proven that the sacrifices of our parents and grandparents had made to come to this country are worth it. This is only the beginning. There is no doubt that these talented siblings will come to memorize the world with their music and continue to inspire youth everywhere. The sky's the limit.
Congratulations, Yaira and su esencia. That's so exciting. We would love to ask you a couple of questions if you want to come down to the microphone. Pretty please. Well, congratulations to the three of you. That's so exciting that you've achieved that success. I was listening to your single on YouTube and watching the video before the board meeting. I was really, really impressed. I love how you've combined genres and have kind of a little bit of a hip hop feel to the music. What artists would you say are your inspiration?
Thank you so much. Also, I think there's this artist called Ivan Cornejo, and
Okay.
he's an inspiration for me too, and also my older brother. That's how I really started.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Well, I would just love to know, so far, what's your favorite space that you've performed in? And the follow-up is, what space would you love to perform in the near future?
I actually performed in one of my older brother's friends' tap room, but we had invited like a lot of people that were supporting us. And honestly, I don't have a place, but I really wish we can go on tour soon.
I'm wondering about, well, congratulations. That's awesome that,
Thank you.
what you're doing, accomplishing in music. It's no easy feat thing to do. So what I like to know more about is the music you grew up on around the house, right? Maybe your parents. What'd you guys play? What'd you guys sing? What were you guys doing at parties or just get-togethers? What type of music did you grow up on?
We grew up listening to like the Latin music and all that. And I mean, a lot of Spanish artists, but we also listened to like English music, and we kind of got our style from like a Latin and like an English type of music. So that's our style.
I like how you guys retain the roots, right? The
Yeah.
old music and kind of integrate that into the current stuff. So that's awesome. And then also just another question. I'm just curious on what instruments you all play or in addition to vocals.
I played 12-string and do the second voice.
I do 6-string guitar and I do the vocals.
I play acoustic bass.
All right. Thank you. Awesome.
Well, are any of you involved in classes in Davis in music? Do you contribute there also, or are you just kind of doing your own thing and enjoying that the most?
Nah, we're just doing our own thing.
Well,
When
so-
I was like in elementary, one of my teachers actually told me that I should join like choir, but I was too shy, so I didn't really want to, you know. But yeah, I've been doing my own thing.
Well, you follow a long line. There are a number of very successful musicians of all genres that have graduated from Davis High School over the years. So it's nice to see you keep that tradition going.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have one. I'd just like to share that I'm so grateful to be able to meet you. This is the first time as a superintendent, but I've known who you are, and your reputation is such that your name is already out there. And I see that you have a big group with you. Are these your friends and family?
Yeah, that's
Hands
my
up.
family.
Who's with you here tonight?
It's my parents, my brother, and some close friends of ours. It's like family.
Wonderful. Thank you for bringing family. I have to tell you that Mr. Camacho is such a big supporter of yours, and he and I were in San Antonio for a migrant conference a week ago, and on a Saturday night we went to a professional boxing match, and at the boxing match, in between the matches, they would play music and the whole crowd would sing in Spanish in between, and then during one of the bouts in between, they played your song, and we were so excited to see everybody in the arena recognizing your music and singing along. So it was just something that gave me chills to know the influence that you're having across the country. So thank you for that. And Mr. Camacho, thank you for the introduction tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for all the support.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda are reports from members of the board. There are 3 discussion items here, or actually 1 discussion item. About a month ago, we had a discussion about our board meetings and transitioning back to in-person or hybrid or staying remote. And so a month ago, we said that we'd have another conversation in the month, which is today, to discuss how we want to continue moving forward with our meetings. I know that Board President Rice has requested that we continue in a hybrid format to accommodate her needs at this time. And so would like to put that recommendation forth to the board that we continue in a hybrid format. Our meeting today is hybrid and seems to work well for us. Comments, questions, other thoughts or feedback from board members?
Just given the needs of the boards, I'm comfortable with the hybrid model right now, so we can accommodate our presidency.
I would agree. I think we are in a space with technology where it makes sense to accommodate, especially given the case with Director Rice's needs right now. I also think that it's smart for us at this point to put a policy into writing so that we have a framework to work for in the future as we go forward. But it certainly makes sense, and it's totally understandable at this point.
Okay, Thank you. We will continue in a hybrid format for our board meetings moving forward. Any other reports from members of the board? Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's update. Superintendent Green.
Thank you, Director Villanueva. This evening, we are starting with our COVID update. We have moved that to only one time per month at the business meeting. So with that report tonight, I will pass this over to our Assistant Superintendent, Stacy Locke.
Thank you, Superintendent Green. Excuse me just 1 second, grab this. So throughout the Yakima School District and the Yakima County, what we're seeing currently is a very low number of COVID-related cases. 13 positives thus far in April. We just recently had a small outbreak in a kindergarten classroom at Gilbert Elementary that was limited to that one classroom population. And what we do in that case is we request to the Yakima Health District that we go to remote while those students stay home for those 5 days. And we continue with remote instruction during that time. In the next slide, when you see that out of 33 tests administered, that 7 were positive, it shows a much higher positivity rate overall. It was diminishing into the single digits over the last month. We believe the reason for that rise in positivity is because less people are getting tested for different variety of reasons. In fact, we've only tested 33 people in the entire month of April when we were testing hundreds per week. And so we do believe that's why that positivity rate is increasing. However, recently the test, or not the test, but the actual COVID strain, the new Omicron strain, is increasing across the country. We anticipate that in the next couple months it will hit the West Coast, first on the west side of the mountains, and then a few weeks later over here. So we do ask people to continue to take precautions, masking, social distancing, etc., washing of hands within the schools, and of course staying home when individuals are sick. So Barb, if we could have the county presentation, please. Thank you. So if we go to the first slide, we can see that the daily cases as of 4/18, 4/16, we're down definitely below 25, and you can see that sudden spike that is occurring. And again, we just look for the rise in cases moving forward. Next slide, please, Barb. Again, we calculate at a rate of 100,000 per 14-day average is what we're looking at. And currently, we were as low as 34 per 100,000 over a 14-day period. And we're jumping up slightly. We're at 53. And so again, we do see that increasing slightly. But in order for it to really impact our school district, those numbers need to go into at least 300 to 500 per 100,000 over a 14-day rate period. Next slide, please. This is zip code rates per 100,000. And as you can see, as the spike came down in February, March here, and it's just starting to rise slightly. Hospitalizations, next slide, please, is a real key. And as you can see, for the last week, that hospitalization rates have been extremely low, which is a real key to keeping everything open and running. Next slide, please. When we look at vaccination rates, age 5 and up, we're looking at 63.4% of our population are fully vaccinated and 36.6% unvaccinated. The next slide shows a comparison of 2020, 2021, and 2022 case numbers by month. And you can kind of see where Delta went, the original went, and now where Omicron has reared its head. But you can see that it's very low at this point in April compared to the others. And then last, as we focus moving forward, you can see that the forecast still is very low and is maintaining only a slight increase from 417 to 424 and then trending down a little bit moving forward. So we hope everything stays going this way and everybody stays safe and well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Since there are no questions, I will move forward with the superintendent update. As the board is well aware, we have a strategic plan that calls out 5 bold community commitments. Goal number 2 is around empowering, connecting, supporting, and having students that are engaged. And the community commitment that we are making is that by 2026, at least 19 of every 20 students, or 95%, will attend school at least 171 days out of 180 days per school year. So this commitment was made, as the board is aware, with a core committee for the strategic planning team and supported by a wide swath of constituents across our district. As part of that, we have a regular report, which is our attendance update. And for that update, I've asked Shelby Lockhart, our Executive Director of Student Achievement, to present to us this evening. Shelby?
Okay, so just a reminder of our regular attendance goal for Yakima School District in 2026. We would like to be at 95% regular attendance. This year, and Barb, you can go forward, our goal was 79%, knowing that historically we have been at about 75% regular attendance. So for April, this is our data for a 79% regular attendance rate as a goal. This is a breakdown of a range of absences for our students this year as of April. So to the left, you can see that we have around 350 students who are severely chronically absent. And then we have about 7,500 students in the middle range. And then we have on the right side our upper range of satisfactory attendance. Sorry. Go ahead, Barb. And then we break it down by elementary schools, so you can see the number of students who in the red are not quite at 79% attendance, and to the right, those who are meeting the 79% attendance goal. And these are our secondary schools. Is it? Okay. The only other thing that I would add, each time I've just shared a little bit about the citywide task force, so that continues to move on. And there's an initial task force that's formed and continues to meet and look at our attendance data and problem solve and reach out to other city members to help Yakima schools with our effort to improve our attendance. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the board?
Yes, I'm just wondering, what are some key themes or challenges, barriers that you know of that our students are facing to attendance?
Yeah, so some of the attendance that we see now is still residual from the fall. And so there were students who missed a lot of days due to illness, or families who are quarantined and, you know, were kind of secondarily quarantined. So some of that is just, you know, a little bit out of our control. We couldn't control all the quarantine counts and things like that. So beyond that, at this, you know, as we are back in school, really what we see when we interview students, when we talk with families, the students who had kind of a rough start, sometimes they have a hard time re-engaging and feeling like they belong or have a regular routine of attending. Maybe they've formed some habits of, you know, not coming every day because that's what the fall and winter felt like. And maybe their stamina is a little bit low. And so it's just a barrier of re-engaging and feeling like students can come back and feel welcome. There are some social anxieties, some of the mental health challenges of our students, and then just like the last 2 years with COVID, there's just challenges in the family with economics. And as you can see, our high school counts have higher students out. A lot of our students took on jobs and have more complex dynamics in their families, or things that they have to take responsibility for in addition to schooling.
Any other questions from members of the board? Thank you so much, Shelby.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shelby. Right in line with the goal number 2 around the commitment for attendance, and I think this goes right up to the question that Director Navarro asked around barriers. We have engaged in a partnership with communities in schools, and they share that kids, and we believe this, that kids cannot get an education or graduate and reap the benefits of a high school degree if they're not in school. So inequitable learning conditions and chronic absenteeism is a problem, and it's a problem nationwide. And because of that, we were able to engage under the direction of alignment with our strategic plan to embrace this partnership in 5 of our schools. And this evening, I've invited 2 of our phenomenal principals, assistant principals at Barch Lincoln and MLK. Tori Brennan, would you please stand? And Sid John, would you please as well? And I've asked for them to share some information about communities and schools and how it is making a difference around attendance and re-engagement for students that they serve. And with them, we have some members of the Communities and Schools group, and we're happy to have them here as well. And please, would you go through introductions, Tori, so we know who everyone is? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us. I'm Tori Brennan, Assistant Principal at Barch Lincoln Elementary. And with me tonight, I have our Community and Schools Advocate, Mr. Edgardo De La Torre.
Hi, everyone. My name is Edgardo De La Torre. I am the student and community advocate at Barch Lincoln Elementary. As Tori was mentioning, we partner with the Barch Lincoln School, but also with the Yakima School District. What we are doing at Barch Lincoln is that we are targeting attendance. We are targeting chronic absenteeism. We are targeting those barriers for students to come to school, but not only to come to school, to be successful in the community. We have developed partnerships with different community services, and I want to mention from medical, dental, mental health, the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and business owners, and just the community in general. And I'm proud to say that families are more engaged than what they were at the beginning of the year, just because they see that we care about them. They see that we are meeting their needs, and by meeting their needs, they're able to send their kids to school. So just letting you guys know that I think Communities and Schools has been successful in the Yakima School District, and especially at Barch Lincoln.
Thank you, Edgardo. And then we also have the Community and Schools Coordinator, Mr. Manny Seja.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having us here today. I am the Program Manager for Communities and Schools here in Yakima School District. We're currently in 5 of our schools here in East Yakima, MLK, Barch Lincoln, Washington, and Stanton Academy. And so our mission at Communities and Schools is to surround our students with a community of supports, and so they can empower them to stay in school. We believe that the transformative relationships that we build with their students is true potential to unlocking their strengths and success in schools. And so 2 of our student community advocates are in the front lines every day, and they do some amazing work. We are currently in conversations and expanding to hopefully 9 other schools in the upcoming year. So thanks for being here.
And I'll have Mr. John also speak to his advocate as well.
Thank you, Tori. Good evening. My name is Sidney John. I'm the assistant principal at Martin Luther King Junior Elementary, home of the All-Stars. And we are just excited about the partnership we have with community and schools. It's just a phenomenal layer of support that we have for our students. Again, just mentioned the attendance. So our advocate, Ms. Mancela Mencias, I'll have her discuss a little bit what she does every day, but we're just so excited about her relationship skills with our students and we're just excited. So I'm going to have her just speak a little bit about what she does every day at MLK.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marisela Mancias, and some of the things that I do at Martin Luther King is I facilitate small groups. I teach our kiddos social skills, peer engagement, emotion regulation. I also offer individual counseling, and I help kiddos, help them manage anger or help them work through behaviors. I case manage 23 kiddos right now, but I'm not limited to the 23. We have almost 600 students, and I am up and down those hallways like crazy, just, needing support wherever I'm needed. My ultimate goal is to make sure that our kiddos are staying in school, but they also, so that they're successful throughout the school. I try to make it, it's not always so serious. I try to make it, fun, and you'll catch me outside playing basketball or jump roping or soccer. They have me on my toes all day long.
We also have a video that we want to share. It has, I believe, gone out to the community, but we'll go ahead and play that. And then at the
Public schools as an entity believe we know what is best for our families, but that's not the case. And by having communities and schools, we're able to connect with families in a way that we weren't previously.
I've faced a lot of difficulties, much like what I see in the school that I serve.
I remember being a migrant student, that there were days I struggled through missing a lot of school and not having all my basic needs met.
We all have different life circumstances and challenges. I think part of what I've been through growing up has taught me to be able to be that positive mentor.
A lot of the challenges that they face include not having access to basic needs at home.
It could be something as big as having an absent parent in the home, and also something as little as the lack of clothing or food.
Northeast Yakima is not the easiest place to live. Advocating for families, what we do as educators, we can only go so far. But I'll be honest with you, 100% of our students were born to be successful.
Our students face many behavioral health needs. We know that there's depression. We're seeing more acting out, and those are all challenges that we've had to face. And providing a resource where we can connect with them and provide services to families is something that is exciting to me in this partnership with communities and schools.
Communities and Schools is the largest dropout prevention nonprofit organization in the state of Washington, but we do so much more than that.
The work that they do ranges from basic needs to academic assistance to filling in the need that the school is trying to reach.
When I learned about community schools, I thought about, wow, I want to be part of that. I want to help others. I want to make a difference in children's lives.
I realized that they had compassion for students who struggle in school, and it has always been a dream of mine to reach out to students who are struggling in the same way that I was when I was a child.
And the work that we do with CIS and our student community advocates, that one person can just be so impactful. You never know when you might say the right thing or you might be in the right place, and thinking back to really navigate through life is really empowering.
You determine and meet those needs of the students. You share it with the school's supports. You talk with their loved ones, and then you build a community plan to help the student succeed.
The communities and schools have come into our district, connecting the schools to home, the home to school, in a way that has provided flexibility in the services that we're able to provide beyond the school day.
We've seen a drastic improvement with communities and schools partnership with our students in terms of supporting them social, emotionally, behavior, and academically.
Our community and schools liaison has been incredible. And what we are seeing as a staff is that he's breaking down barriers to help make sure that the student and the families are successful here in our Barch community.
It's hard when parents don't feel valued, they do not feel that they're listened to. The reality is sometimes we can't always get to all those parents in a timely manner. Having Edgardo here at school fills that gap.
I see myself as a bridge between the school and the home.
And then I share my story with them. It opens a door of trust. It helps them, it reaches them, and they're open to change. It motivates them to do better. And they motivate me more than anything.
The impact of having community in schools, it's really immeasurable.
It's a success story that that not only Barch Lincoln can build on, but other schools here in Yakima and the lower Yakima Valley as well.
If you have not gotten involved with communities and schools, do so.
You need to jump right on it because I think it's a very valuable layer of support that you can give your students and your families and your staff.
So I highly, highly recommend not only volunteering, but getting community and schools involved in your school, in your area, if possible.
Go to our website, ciswa.org, and learn about how you can get involved.
Does the board have any questions for any of us up here?
Any questions from members of the board?
I have just an appreciation for the work that you're doing and any kind of connection that we can make to help kids and their parents connect with their school and value being there is really helpful. And I know as a district, we've increased large numbers of counseling services and support services, and the more the merrier. Just, you're right, that individual connection, you never know who's going to make that connection with which kid, and that's what keeps them coming and keeps them succeeding. So thanks for your work.
Just a basic question from the new guy. How long has communities and schools been active, especially at Barch Lincoln?
What I know is that communities and schools started in 1970s in New York. And so it's been active for 40 something years, almost 50. Barch Lincoln Communities and Schools has been active for about 8 to 9 months since the beginning of the school year.
Thank you.
I also wanted to commend you for the work that you do for students. I like I forget who said that 100% of students are born to be successful. And that to me tells me everything about the work that you're doing and empowering them, right, to use education to achieve their goals and dreams. So just wanted to thank you for the job well done and keep up the good work. I know you're impacting the lives of many of those little kiddos, the little guys and little girls that are coming through the Yakima School District. I know that because of the work that you do, they're going to have an even greater chance of achieving their own dreams and goals. So thank you very much. I do appreciate all the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate the update, the presentation, and Manny, put your hand up for just one more second. Thank you for overseeing our community and schools partners across the 5 schools. I know that we will be coming forward again before the end of the year with the data to share with the board instead of just the anecdotal data, but the actual statistics and the change that we've seen play out in the schools. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your work. I appreciate you being here tonight and sharing this with the board. Returning now to our strategic plan, because we seem to be rooted steeply in goal number 2 this evening. Goal number 2, again, empowered, connected, supported, and engaged. And one of the parts of this goal talks about being connected, being engaged. And it may seem minor, but for our high school students, there are those that can't even afford something like a yearbook. And that is something that is a memory of high school that makes them feel a part of something. So for that, I've actually asked our Executive Director of Career and College Readiness, Byron Gerard, to share a phenomenal new opportunity for all of our students across the high school level at this point to receive a free yearbook and to explain the program and how we're doing this. Byron, please.
Good evening, everybody. Again, Byron Gerard, Executive Director of Career and College Readiness, and it's powered by CTE. So one of the great things about my role is to think innovatively about some things in our district and kind of lean into some unique needs. And so one of those is our yearbook. And I'm a recovering high school principal, and I remember, you know, the excitement and the joy of kids getting their yearbooks every year. But there's also that moment where you recognize how many students in your school don't have a yearbook or can't afford a yearbook. And so we set out to tackle that problem through our CTE frameworks. And so taking your attention to the slides and just our yearbook class, it's called several different things in several different schools. Yearbook, journalism, the state CTE frameworks recognize it as something called pre-press. And so we do have a yearbook pre-press journalism class or classes in our two high schools, Eisenhower and Davis. And it's a visual arts graduation pathway, and it gives you a little bit of the description of what a typical, you know, what we do expect from publishing a high school yearbook in our classes in our schools. Next slide, please. So again, going back to every year, there's a time where we recognize that all students can't afford a yearbook. But I would venture to guess that all of us have a yearbook somewhere in a box somewhere. Like a yearbook is a big piece of our middle school and our high school experiences. And so we set out to basically update our CTE framework. So a typical yearbook class, it addresses the yearbook curriculum, and the students, you know, publish it, and the students in the yearbook class make choices about what the cover looks like and what goes into the yearbook. They get pictures, and it's a pretty isolated, there are some school-wide inclusions, but it's a pretty isolated process. And then they publish a yearbook, and they learn the publishing process, and then they sell it, and they fundraise basically to pay off the yearbook. We have updated our CTE frameworks to include all of our students. So the yearbook class students will be facilitators in this process, and they will engage the whole school. The whole school have opportunities to have input and choice, to submit surveys about what they like in the yearbook. A fundraising opportunity typically in a yearbook is senior ads. Some students can afford to have a senior ad, some students can't. And through our yearbooks for all seniors will have the opportunity to have a senior ad to celebrate and showcase their senior year in their yearbook. So next slide, please. So just to give you a quick visual of what our frameworks, CTE frameworks are actually, they're typically about 35 pages long. So I just gave us page 1 today. So, but I just wanted to give you a highlight of just some minor adjustments that we made into our framework, and to talk about yearbooks for all, to talk about the yearbook not being a product that our class was publishing, but actually a capstone that this yearbook class was producing. And because it's a capstone project, it's a piece of curriculum that the kids are creating, we can then share that curriculum with the school. Thanks. So a couple of data points. So last year, Davis sold about 450. Granted, this, you know, we were in COVID, times, but only 450 students ordered a yearbook last year. At Eisenhower, 800 students, purchased a yearbook. Eisenhower and Davis have done amazing work in reducing the costs. I was actually shocked about how much work they have done. Typically, a yearbook in other high schools and other districts can be $60 to $80. Eisenhower and Davis have their yearbooks down at around $20 through their efforts. So it's really great efforts on their part, but we wanted to do better. The most yearbooks ever sold at Davis in 2020 was 1,000, and the most at Eisenhower was in 2017 was a little over 1,200. So we reached out to students this year, a couple weeks ago, and basically gave a simple survey and said, if your yearbook was no cost to you, would you want one? Like yes or no. And we had 1,800 students at Davis say yes, they want a yearbook. And we had 2,000 students at Eisenhower that says yes, they want a yearbook. And that's exactly what we're doing. And so we're gonna make sure that that last week of June, that every one of those high school students at Eisenhower and Davis has a yearbook. And so just wrapping up before questions, I have talked to the principals at our 4 middle schools, and I've talked to the principals at Stanton and Yakima Online. They don't currently have a CTE yearbook class, so we need to get creative with them, but that's work ahead that we need to tackle. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the board?
I'm just curious as to how you achieved the ability to sell a yearbook at that price.
How our schools?
Yeah, how they organized that and made that happen.
Yeah, that was work before me. Our yearbook advisors met with the Balfour, I think is how you pronounce it, Balfour leadership, and they negotiated a price based on how many yearbooks they sold, and then they supplemented that cost with different fundraisers throughout the year. But $0 is a lot better than $20.
Any other questions from members of the board? No question from me, but thank you for all of your work and the work of the team that is doing that. $20 is still a lot of money to a lot of our families, and so I appreciate that you and the people before you have been able to work to provide this great benefit to our students. Thank you so much for all your effort.
Thank you.
Thank you, Byron. And to wrap up the superintendent time here today, I have a question for the board, or a statement basically, that WASDA meeting, we have a session for WASDA to be at, it's the Area 8 meeting, which is scheduled for May 5th at 6 o'clock in the evening. That will be at Hera, at the new school out in Mount Adams School District. So again, Area 8 meeting for WASDA, May 5th at 6 p.m. at the new school in Hera. And Barb, will we send out a email to the board to let them know and check availability?
You bet.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have to remember that now. I just wanted that to be on your radar, that you will have an invite. If you are going in person, of course, I would love to be there with you. So I have something vested in this. If you go, I go. So please do let me know if you are interested in attending that date. In addition, to notify the board, we have an August 8th board retreat. It has been solidified August 8th, and that is also, we have a commitment from Erin Jones, who was our facilitator about a month back. So we were able to secure some time with her, and we're excited about that. And I believe we have something happening with our kinders at that time. What is correct? It's the first day of Kinder Academy on August 8th. So maybe we can see if we can start with a field trip. So that would be nice to have a retreat and see our littlest kiddos there, and their successes as they come in and have that opportunity. Wonderful. And then we have, just by way of notification, the class of 2026. So our 8th graders moving to 9th grade will have open houses. So this will be for all incoming freshmen. That will be April 25th. So there will be a night for every 8th grader to then hear what to expect as an entering freshman into high school at both Davis, Eisenhower, Stanton, online as well. And the last item for tonight is that we are engaged in our audit, and I'm looking out there and Becky's nodding right now, not nodding off, she's nodding yes. And we have an entrance audit meeting for the accountability portion of the 2020 and 2021 state audit. We already had Director Walker and Director Beckett participate in the entrance portion of the federal single audit. So there's two sides to this audit, a federal single audit and also then the accountability audit. And that is scheduled now for May 5th from 11:30 to 12 o'clock on May 5th. And again, we will send that notification out to the board to see if anybody would like to be in attendance. We would love to have board representation as part of that accountability entrance portion of that audit on May 5th, 11:30 to 12. Do you have any questions about any of these dates at this point? Wonderful. Okay, we'll make sure that we get those to you here by tomorrow. And with that, I'll conclude my update.
Thank you, Superintendent Green. That was a lot of really good information that you had for us today. The next item on the agenda is Associates of Arts degree in high school, and Mr. Gerard is presenting. Superintendent Green, do you want to kick that off?
You may recognize our next presenter. We have Byron Gerard, who is returning to share an update on AA degree in the high school. Byron Gerard is our Executive Director of Career and College Readiness. And the announcement here that he's sharing, or in detail, is of such excitement. It's just amazing what he has been able to achieve in the short time that he's here, and realizing a vision to provide an opportunity for students beyond what existed previously. So without stealing his thunder, I will pass it back to Byron for the update.
Thank you. Well, if you haven't guessed, I have a really cool job. And so I get to work on really neat things like this. And this has been a project that we've been working on most of the school year. And as you are aware, our high schools work really hard to build really a portfolio of college access or college credit opportunities. So, we have work through our IB and our AP courses. We have college in the high school courses. We have obviously Running Start partnerships. We have, a new and developing partnership with Central, and that, should launch this fall as well. But what we wanted to update you on today is a partnership with Arizona State University. And it's a really unique partnership. So Arizona State University received a Gates grant to really break down barriers and just gates to students accessing college credit and a college experience. And so they are partnering with several school districts around the country and, piloting this college degree. There's AA degree by the time they finish high school. Actually, their pilot initially was AA by 13. They sought us out to partner with us that by the 13th year, so a year after a student graduates from our system, they would have an opportunity to get an Associates of Arts degree. We pushed back on that, and we said, we have our kids until 12th grade, and that's where our relationships are, and that's where our supports are. And so we are really the only school district in the country that has a partnership with Arizona State University for an AA by 12. So the program design is that students enter 9th grade, and they'll be able to take some asynchronous online classes as part of their school day. So they don't have to leave our campuses. They can still be involved in all the other classes that they want to, in the fine arts or the CTE, or whatever other classes they want to participate in. But they will have a class, a lab, kind of a computer lab class during their school day that they'll be able to take an online college course through Arizona State University. Next slide, please. So I think I covered most of this. So there'll be asynchronous classes that students will take. So we'll have a computer lab. We'll have a staff member in that computer lab during the day that can mentor students, kind of keep them accountable, make sure they're attending. If they get stuck, connect them to resources. Arizona State University, even though the courses will be asynchronous, they'll have teachers assigned to those students that will have office hours. They'll also have a success type of a person at the university that can connect with students and help them. The design is the students will take 1 or 2 courses, except for their senior year. They might take 3 courses throughout their school day. We're going to kind of slow roll into it. And our freshmen will take 1 course per semester, and then there will be some summer opportunities. They'll need to take a course during the summer as well. Next slide, please. We wanted to give everybody just an example of what it could look like. So this example is a typical 6-period day for a 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grader. So again, this isn't everybody's schedule, but a typical schedule would look like that. And we wanted to show, so the courses that are shaded in various colors are the courses that would be, implemented into a student's high school schedule as the Arizona State University class. And so they would basically equivalent to one of our high school graduation requirements. So next slide, please. We're a pilot program, so this is work in progress, but we wanted to give you kind of what the scope and sequence is looking like. So we've gone through our list of graduation requirements, and we've gone through our list of the classes, the courses that Arizona State is requiring for their AA degree. And we've begun the work of doing course codes and aligning them to our course catalog, aligning those classes to the appropriate course catalog classes. So it's pretty exciting work. So I meet weekly with one of their representatives, and we're just kind of task managing through the 4-year plan. You might be wondering, how much is this going to cost? So Arizona, like I said, got a Gates grant, and part of that Gates grant flows through funds to us. And so we've negotiated with Arizona State $200 per course, kind of a flat rate. And part of that Gates grant will actually pay the students' tuition. So the students and families will have no cost to them for these college credits. If a student doesn't do as well as they wanted to in one of these college level courses, they always have the choice with Arizona State to put that credit or that course on their college transcript or leave it off. And so that's another great attribute of this program. They don't have to take any SATs. They don't have to do any entrance requirements. They have to apply through our counseling team at our schools. Slide, please. So we have the first pilot year is this next year. We'll have 30 seats available at Davis and 30 seats available at Eisenhower. Currently, our incoming 9th graders, our current 8th graders, on their 9th grade registration forms have a little checkbox that just simply says something to the effect of like, I would be interested in knowing more about this. In May, we'll have an information evening that'll bring anybody interested in what this looks like, and we'll have them come in and we'll talk them through the program in more detail, what an online learner kind of needs to be ready for, the summer commitments, whether this would be a good fit for their 4-year and high school and beyond plan. And then from that meeting, students will initiate their interest further with a short little application, and the counselors at our high school will case manage with each student, each family, whether this program is going to be a good fit for them. And then it's just a matter of our counseling team at our different high schools just signing the students up for the courses. Next slide. That's what we're doing. So we're pretty excited about this opportunity. It's just a portfolio of another opportunity for our students, at no cost to them to get college credit. The great thing about this program is most of our students have to wait till their junior year to engage in things like Running Start. This gets a student right out of the gate in 9th grade and gives them access to college level courses. Any questions?
Questions from members of the board?
Yes, I do have a couple questions regarding the course of study. So I'm just wondering, it does appear that it would be a good fit for a student that's going into humanities and social sciences. So I'm wondering if the course of study, the courses included here, are they set in stone? And if not, would a student who's interested in going into a STEM-related field, would they be able to take advantage of this program?
That's actually a great question. So when we first started our conversations with them, Arizona State actually had 3 pathways, and one was more of a humanities, one was more of a transfer, and one was more of a business pathway. And we decided to step off the curb first year in this pilot. Let's focus on one pathway that seemed to have the broadest access points. But you're right. So the ultimate goal is, as this program develops and as we add cohorts every year, to open up those different degree pathways. And Arizona, again, we're a pilot, so they've already been flexible. Like, I've met back with them and said, this course really doesn't make sense in our course catalog equivalency. Is there something else? And they're really open at making this make sense to our students and in our district.
And then a follow-up question. So is there any agreements with Washington State universities where they can use this to transfer, like say to Central or UW or any of the other universities?
Yeah, Arizona State University is a Pac-12 university. It's a big school. So, and this is a college transcript. So if they only get so far in the program, or if they move out of our community junior year of high school and they go somewhere else or decide to do another program, they have a transcripted college credit, can never be taken away.
Thank you.
Other questions from board members? A couple of questions. I saw that the cost to students is being covered by a grant. Are there costs that are not covered by the grant? You mentioned tuition, but is there like a cost for books or lab fees or anything like that?
So our students already have their devices, their computers, and the courses are all asynchronous and online. And Arizona State University representatives said that's all they need to access the courses.
And you talked about a information session. Will that be held in Spanish as well?
Yes, it would. Yeah, when we organize that, we'll have that in both English and Spanish.
Thank you. It sounds like a really wonderful opportunity for our students. I'm trying to count in my head the number of different kinds of opportunities we have for dual credit, but there's quite a few. So thank you so much for doing all of this work. This is a really innovative program that I think a lot of our students will benefit from. The pilot initially is 30 at Eisenhower and 30 at Davis. Is the plan to expand that if this pilot is successful?
Yeah, we really needed just to figure out what we could wrap around this first year and figure out our staffing and our growth model. And as we grow it, as we go beyond their grant funds, we need to figure out how to sustain it and what those numbers are. Then we need to figure out pathways for our other high school students, possibly at Stanton and Yakima Online, and how we can engage those students as well.
How long will the grant funds last? Is it just for 1 year?
Their grant funds are 2 years.
2 years.
So
okay.
yeah, we'll receive 2 years of funding from the Gates, from Arizona State through the Gates grant.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Byron. Appreciate that. Thank you. Just also to inform the board, currently with our Running Start programs, we are passing through right around $1 million a year. So that is money that is exiting our system as students go to college outside of our school. So if we're able to recapture a portion of that, then it becomes sustainable for students at a reduced or no cost. So it's really a tremendous opportunity. And as Byron shared, we are the only district in the country currently with a partnership with Arizona State University for this purpose. We also did search out throughout the entire state to see if this was something that we could do here internally, and we're still working at that on that option. We do hope that we can continue to expand partnerships across to the colleges and universities here within our own state, but we're excited about this and what it means for our students.
You mentioned the pass-through funds. Does that mean that the money that's earmarked for Running Start now could potentially be earmarked for this program with ASU?
Yes, if we had students that were opting to enter this program, then they would not exit to a Running Start program, and we would benefit, and they would benefit. They would be able to stay at the school site, participate in all that we offer and the relationships that are being built here, but also then, of course, we would be able to capture the funding and be able to sustain the program and expand. Exciting. Yeah. And speaking of exciting, we have our executive director here, Becky Neeson, who has joined us today to present. She's our executive director of finance, and we are going to walk through the general fund budget and financial status update. She has generously allowed me to take a couple of these pages, so as she weans me here into the budget. So we'll start with the executive summary. The executive summary has 3 bullet points that I would like to acknowledge here for the board. As of March 2022, you can see that the enrollment decline for K-12 and our ALE programs is 221 FTE as compared to the start of the school year. So Director Villanueva, I know that it was you that asked us about what that looks like going all the way back to the beginning of the school year and not just month to month. So the answer for this month is that we are 221 FTE below for the K-12 and ALE programs. If you look at the decline across all of our programs, so if we factor in our open doors programs. We do capture some more of those FTEs back. And you can see that the enrollment decline across all district programs is 129 FTE, which is 0.8% below the projection that we had around for our FTEs at the beginning of the year, of the school year. ESSER II funds were used to purchase most recently 2,500 student laptops in the amount of 1.2 million, and that will be reflected in the March 2022 expenditures. If you look to the next page, the first graph, and I'll just go ahead and jump in here and then be ready, Becky, I'll pass it back to you. But if you're looking at the bar graph, which is the first year actual FTE, K-12 and ALE enrollment trend, this goes back 5 years. And I know that we have some people here in the audience that have actually asked about what our enrollment looks like longitudinally. So if you can look at this and see and note that there has been a steady decline. I was looking at this today in preparation, and I would just like to point out to the board that if you look at this document and we go back to, it looks like the 2017, 2018 October count as compared to the count from this month. So from 2017, 2018 school year in October to our current date, 2021, 2022 March, we are actually down below 1,000 students from that point. So there's been a significant reduction in FTE over the last 5 years. If you look at the next page, you will see a line graph here with the enrollment of all programs. I believe, is this the projected enrollment, Becky, as I get ready to pass this back?
Yes, the dark line is the budget, and the blue line, the decline, is where we're at currently. Okay, thank you, Superintendent Green. Members of the board, this is your financial report slides for March 31, 2022. So next slide, Barb. This is the revenue slide, the revenue comparison to budget and to last year. So we're trending just above where we were last year and just under our budget. This is our cash flow. We are trending pretty much with the line of the projection, the dark line there. Next slide. This is our total expenditures. Again, we're comparing across last year and this year. And then this is the payroll trend. You can see we're above last year, but we're trending with budget. And the next slide. And this is our MSOC, or our supplies and materials. And this is where the computers we purchased. You're going to see that in this current month. And then this is our ESSER II slide. And you might notice that we are getting to the end. If you look at the balance in that very top line, we're getting to the end of ESSER II. So maybe next month I'll have a new slide for you that will show the ESSER III. Questions?
Questions from
Comments?
members of the board? Thank you so much, Becky,
You're
for presenting
welcome.
this to us. Continue to be appreciative of the simple slides and easy to understand presentation. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Next on our agenda are comments from the public on agenda items. And Barb, can you confirm that we don't have any people signed up for comments from the public on agenda items?
None on the agenda items that I noticed.
Okay, so we'll soon get to the second opportunity for comments at the end of our agenda. Moving on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda enables the board of directors to efficiently deal with matters that have been delegated to the superintendent, but by law must be approved by the board. Items on the consent agenda are voted upon as a block and approved with one vote. Any board member has the right to remove any item from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. On today's consent agenda, we have approval of minutes from the March 22nd meeting, notification of approval of warrants for March 2022. That includes 1 ASB warrant, 3 general fund warrants, 1 transportation warrant, and 1 capital projects warrant. Approval of personnel actions, approval of out of endorsement assignments, and approval of the budget status reports for March 2022. Do any board members wish to remove any item from the consent agenda? I will at this time entertain a motion that the Board of Directors approves the consent agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Norm,
Second.
seconded by Raymond. Is there any discussion? Barb, would you conduct roll call vote, please?
Director Beckett,
Yes.
Director Walker,
Yes.
Director Navarro Jr.,
Aye.
Vice President Villanueva,
Yes.
and President Rice.
I voted yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Yes. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda are actions on other items. We have a request for approval to purchase replacement storage for video surveillance systems, and Stacy Locke is presenting on.
Thank you, Director Villanueva. So we are requesting that the board grants permission to purchase the storage hard drive space needed for the district video surveillance system. The YSD strategic plan alignment is goal number 2, all students empowered, connected, supported, resilient, engaged. The fiscal impact is $256,814.62. Background information, as specifically noted in strategic goal number 2, it is important that the district provides safe and secure learning environment for students, parents, teachers, and staff. Security cameras and video surveillance play an important role in the overall security strategy in our schools. District security systems play a significant role in deterring crime, bullying, and school violence on Yakima School District campuses. The district will be using budgeted funds, construction funds, and ESSER funds, and will be purchasing the storage using an interlocal agreement through the Wasipsi Cooperative, which is the Yakima, of which the Yakima School District is a member. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the board? I will entertain a motion that the Board of Directors grants permission to purchase the storage needed for the district video surveillance in the amount of $256,814.62.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Norm, seconded by Raymond. Is there any discussion? Barb, will you conduct roll call vote, please?
Director Beckett,
Yes.
Director Walker,
Yes.
Director Navarro Jr.,
Aye.
Vice President Villanueva,
Yes.
President Rice.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. We have arrived at the second opportunity for comments from the public. And I understand we have 14 individuals. We sincerely thank those who have signed up to speak this evening. We recognize that the community perspective is valuable, and we applaud those who celebrate others, pose questions, or offer suggestions. While responses from the board will not be given to the speakers at this time, each of you will receive a response to your comments within a week. We thank you for signing up to speak with us this evening, and I will review our public input guidelines as well. The purpose of community input is for the board to listen to concerns of the community. Speakers will be treated in a respectful manner. The board does not engage in dialogue at this time. The audience is expected to give their attention to the speaker. Members of the public are asked to sign in prior to speaking, introduce yourself, and state all affiliations with the district. The second public comment period is for items that are not on the agenda. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes so everyone has a chance to be heard. Refrain from discussing the performance of an employee or the interpretation or application of the district's labor agreements, including grievances, and refrain from making derogatory comments about individuals. Barb, will there be a time displayed on the screen?
Yes, it'll be 3 minutes and then it does buzz when it's done.
I will call these individuals up to there's this microphone over here, Barb, right in front of the middle of the room here. Okay. First on the agenda is Teresa Altamirano. Is Teresa here? Teresa Altamirano.
She was one that signed up online earlier this week, so she might not have made it tonight.
Are individuals on online available to? Nope. Okay. All right. Next on the list is Lindsay Boswell. Yep, right back there.
Hey, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to participate in the public comment portion of this meeting. As I said, my name is Lindsay Boswell, and I'm a parent of 3 students at Discovery Lab School. Jonah is in 7th grade, Grace is in 4th, and Abigail is in 2nd. I'm also a member of the Discovery Lab School Site Council, which serves as a policy governing body for Discovery Lab School. I recently submitted a letter to the YSD School Board and to Superintendent Green on behalf of the parent members of the DLS Site Council, as well as several other parents who supported the request included in it. My time with you tonight is to share a concern about decision-making processes in the district. With the change to Discovery Lab School, I observed a lot of decisions that felt very much like binary thinking. I define binary thinking as an either or, a yes, no, A or B, or however you best describe 2 choices that are presented as mutually exclusive. This is also sometimes called a false dilemma fallacy, where only 2 options or sides of an issue are presented where there may be actually many options or sides. Binary thinking uses words and phrases like always, only, never, forced to, had to, no other choice. It speaks in absolutes, doesn't leave room for creativity or collaboration. Binary thinking manufactures urgency by making us think we need to act with immediacy or haste. And binary thinking centralizes decision-making and concentrates authority. An alternate framework to binary thinking would be one that is fluid, flexible, adaptive, word of the month, embraces complexity and messiness, and allows for sufficient time to gather input and feedback. What I consider what it's like to be a family with school-age children, I think of how our lives are complex and messy, they are adaptive, and we are creatively finding ways to address dilemmas that happen daily. The words that I use to describe binary thinking have been used to describe the rationale behind the changes at Discovery Lab, which was not included on this evening's attendance charts, by the way. Achievement of Goal 1 of the strategic plan was identified as the driving force behind a decision that was presented with no other choices or options given the established timeline. 2 groups of students in the Yakima School District, early learners and Discovery Lab students, were set up as mutually exclusive groups to be served, and Goal 1 of the strategic plan could not be achieved with the current configuration of Discovery Lab. In setting up these as a binary, you missed a significant opportunity to access the wisdom and adaptability of the Discovery Lab community, which in schools includes families and staff. I understand how the Yakima School District Board operates under a policy governance model, which is accountable for particular results for specific stakeholders at varying levels of priority. My request, can I do 10 seconds? Thank you. My request of both the board and the superintendent as servant leaders of the Yakima School District is to be diligent in your complementary roles in leading the district so that you don't fall into false dilemma fallacies when working on complex issues, and that you seek out alternate sources of wisdom and consider those in making and implementing decisions. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Leona Braden.
Hello and good evening. My name is Leola Braden. I am the mother of a first grader in Discovery Lab. I also have 2 more children who will soon be joining into the Yakima School District as well. Today, I asked my son Connor what his favorite thing was about Discovery Lab. And the way he said this to me was, well, it's not really a favorite thing, it's everything. The school, it's my favorite. I have a pretty strong feeling that many students of this school would agree with him. Today's meeting originally was going to feature Discovery Lab and give presentations and highlight the wonderful things that this school has done. But just like the school itself, that was swept under the rug. I would still, however, like to take this time and give a shout out. A shout out to an all-around amazing staff. A shout out to all the volunteers and parents. A shout out to the Yakima community and everyone who has helped Discovery Lab become the amazing place that it is. Also, of course, a huge shout out to the students because they are what truly makes Discovery Lab so amazing. We are all devastated about the closure, the lack of communication, and the lack of clarity. But we have an opportunity to take all of this and everything that is good and yell it out to make changes to better the schools that everyone will be attending in the near future. I'm not going to stand here and tell you about all the amazing achievements and greatness over the years. I'm going to ask everyone the same question that I asked my son. What are your favorite things about Discovery Lab? I would love for people to share what they think and share their experiences on the Facebook page of Speak Up for Discovery Lab. I would also like to ask all the members of the board to join that page so that you can hear these things and see for yourselves what the students and everyone who has been personally affected by the school believes makes it such a great place to be. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Maria Badillo.
Good evening. I'm Marta Weaver. Mrs. Badillo has asked me to interpret for her, so I'll do my best.
Gracias. Buenas tardes a todos.
Good evening to everyone.
Gracias por darme esta oportunidad de hablar.
Thank you so much for giving me the time to speak to you.
Mi nombre es Lupita y mi hijo Eduardo.
My name is Lupita and my son is Eduardo.
Estamos aquí hoy para decir un punto importante como padre y madre que soy de mi hijo.
We are here tonight to share an important point as mother and son of this community.
Acerca del punto que están tomando en la escuela de mi hijo.
Regarding the decisions that have been made about the students' school.
El día que llegó con la noticia acerca de cerrar Discovery Lab,
the day he came home with the information that Discovery Lab was going to be closed,
fue algo que impactó emocionalmente como persona de él y sus sentimientos.
it was something that affected him in his feelings and the way he was feeling that day.
Y mi pregunta es, antes de tomar una decisión, ¿pensaron en la emoción de nuestros hijos?
And my question is, before you made a decision, did you think about the emotional part that this was going to make or take place for the students.
¿Y saben el impacto que va a tener en sus vidas más adelante?
And do you know how this is going to impact their lives in the future?
Una cosa importante acerca de mi hijo que quiero compartir.
There is something important I want to share about my son.
Es importante decirles que él en Hoover, en preescolar, tuvo la pérdida de un maestro, que es el señor Owen. No sé si lo conocen o conocieron.
When he was attending preschool at Hoover, he lost his teacher, Mr. Owen. I don't know if you know him.
Entonces, emocionalmente le ha afectado y estoy preocupada que le siga afectando una decisión como esta que han tomado sin antes pensar en nuestros niños de la comunidad.
And this was emotionally very tough for him. And I fear that this decision that you have made regarding Discovery is going to affect him again emotionally.
Gracias. Buenas noches.
Thank you. Good night.
Muchas gracias. Thank you for your comments. I think we'll group the speakers by topic, and so I will call on Kathy Mona-Smith. And then after Kathy, the next person is Miriam Hubbard, Mina Hubbard, who buzzed, maybe?
Good evening. I've been with the district for 29 years. I've been at Discovery Lab School for 25 years. And I just want to thank the Yakima School District for such an amazing career. Discovery Lab has been my home and my family, away from my home and family, of course, for so long. It hurt my feelings tonight when I saw Shelby's report and we weren't even represented in attendance. By the way, our attendance is super phenomenal, and it was super phenomenal remotely also. This is such an emotional time. Something I think I've feared for a while, but I never really thought it would happen because I live this and I see the importance of my colleagues and our families and these children and how we're different. And I was so proud of this district for having an opportunity, an option for something different. And I don't think that we've ever really been understood. You always wanted something from us that we didn't quite know how to give you, but we knew we were giving it to families and we were giving it to each other and we were giving it to these students. I'm saddened that you came and gave us this information. You sent grief counselors for one day afterwards, and everything that's happened since, all the behavior problems, all the angst and hurt has been on our shoulders, and especially our principal's shoulders, and it's been very hard, very, very hard. There's a need in this district for what we have to offer. And I don't know how you're going to feel that need. I know you're going to feel a different need, but I don't think you're going to be able to replace the very talented staff, the dedication that we've had to our families and to our children. And I hope you can consider, I know you won't consider it now, but I hope you consider in the future that this was a viable option for families, and that maybe you'll relook at it again later, but you won't have the same expertise or the same longevity that we've built. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments.
My name is Miriam Hubbard. I am currently the librarian and reading interventionist at Discovery Lab School. The district has spent thousands of dollars training me for reading intervention. I spent my own thousands to get my librarian. I was hired 9 years ago and given the instruction to build that library at Discovery so that it would be suitable for all 3 age groupings of library books. That library now contains over 16,500 volumes valued at over $200,000. For a month now, I have been asking, what is going to be done with this library? I got pushy over spring break. I finally had a meeting last Wednesday, and I was told we haven't thought about what we are going to do in those portables yet. Over $200,000 worth of books. I have proposed, even put a construction site office trailer in the parking lot at the new innovation building so that I can serve all online students in Yakima with reading and library. I have also proposed, find a space for me down by Stanton with that library. What can I do down there? I can still serve Edgenuity. I can also serve Stanton, who has many students who need reading help. I can also start a program to interrupt the poverty of reading that happens with struggling students who have babies. So far, I'm hearing nothing. You can't just throw the books in a dumpster. The only proposals I've heard was the town library might like them donated, or the other librarians in Yakima district might have room. Obviously by someone who has not really looked at the shelves in the town library or the lack of shelf space in our other Yakima school district libraries. That is just one problem with this reconfiguration. Before that decision was announced, was the city even contacted to see if you were going to be allowed to put in sewer and water lines all over that field? The last portable put in does not have bathrooms because the city wouldn't allow it. Did you check with Rotary? Did you double check on the strings that were attached when Rotary built the 2 baseball diamonds to see if you're going to be able to remove them? Then we get to the fact that the fire department won't even allow you to hang a piece of paper from the portable ceiling, much less a sling that is needed in some of these pre-K classrooms. And of course, no parking.
Thank you so much for your comments, Marianne. Next is Susan Kern. Okay, I don't see Veronica listed. So Veronica, after your presentation, if you'll please come up here and sign the form. So let's actually go to Guadalupe Badilla. I think she's the next person listed. Did she speak already? Okay. Is there another? So we have 2 Badillos listed, Maria Badilla and Guadalupe Badilla. Is Maria Badilla, are you both Maria and Guadalupe? Okay, okay. So we will cross. And, okay, so Susan, you said Veronica will be speaking. Okay, Veronica, please.
Hello, I'm Veronica. I have a daughter in 7th grade at Discovery, and we recently just found this school. we had a hard time with Alejandra actually liking school and having depression and anxiety. And ever since she started Discovery Lab, she has not came home one day saying she hates school and she doesn't want to go back. The day she found out that there won't be a Discovery Lab and it was closing, she's stayed in her room all day and didn't come out till the next day. She's still sad that there will be no more Discovery Lab, and we don't even know what school we should send her to because all the other schools are really big and she has like anxiety being around a lot of people. So this whole time I was listening and you guys are all about like the kids being successful and the kids having everything that they should have to be somebody in this life. Well, probably you guys haven't really looked into what the kids with depression really want or what they need, or probably there's a lot of kids in Discovery Lab that have the same situation as my kid. And that's why they chose a smaller school, because they don't want their child to feel like they don't want to go to school, or I don't know. That's just, I feel like you guys have not really paid much attention to what the kids that have to deal with depression and anxiety on a daily basis and how they must feel, or probably didn't ask first before making a decision to closing the school, how they would feel if there would be no Discovery Lab. And I just wanted to say that hopefully you guys could reconsider it and maybe ask the kids before actually making a firm decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. And Veronica, if you can please sign in. Barb, is there another form at the podium over there? Thank you so much. That'll make sure that we're able to respond to everybody. Okay, that is, I believe, the last person on the list that had signed up to talk about Discovery Lab School. Is there anybody that I missed? Okay, looks like it must have been accidentally scratched out when I got the form. Angela, please, if you'll come up to the microphone.
Thank you. My name is Angela Gonzalez. I have 2 children in the Yakima School District. The first one is now at Davis High School. She graduated from Discovery Lab and with the help of her teachers, moved to Davis High School in all honors classes and remains in those classes. When she started Discovery, she was very shy. She continues to be shy, but with the help of the teachers and the one-on-one attention that they gave her, she was able to open up a bit. I, as a parent, feel that there was a significant lack of transparency in the move of Discovery to an early learning school. The announcement was made at 4:30 when most of the parents were working and were not able to attend. There was no opportunity for parent or community input, and it made me feel that I was not valued as a parent or as a community member. There was a sharp, or I feel a sharp lack of engagement with the community. I had understood that Discovery was on the agenda for tonight. I don't know why that was removed. And I know that Dr. Green was talking about connection, empowerment, being informed and engaged. As a parent, I don't feel any of those things with the way that the decision was made. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. There are a couple of other names on the list that were crossed out, so I'll just call them to make sure. Christine Leviton.
My daughter is also a student at Discovery Lab, and she's been there for, well, since the 1st grade. She's in 7th grade now, just 1 year shy of going on to high school. And I wrote a letter to the board and was given a response by Mrs. Rice, who had a form letter that she apparently sent to all of us who sent a letter to you, which said, thanks for your impassioned letter. We talked to the community and we talked to lots of people, including people from Discovery Lab, to make our decision. I would like to see what that study and research really was, to see if in my own eyes it actually reflects what you're portraying it to be. I feel like it's probably a far cry from, are there going to be students that are part of our community that will be affected? And I doubt that. You want to say also in the letter that there's just no other place for this early learning center. There's no other option commercially or within the district that you've looked and searched. I'd like to see what that looks like for real. I think all that should be presented to us as a courtesy so that we can feel confident with the decision and the massive impact you're making on our students. I know it's a small amount of students, very small, but each student individually, as this gentleman directly in the center said, was born to be a great student. And at Discovery Lab, we have great students, even students that are in the resource program at Discovery Lab, like mine, deserve a chance. She's going to be let out into a massive school for her last year in junior high. I mean, every parent worries about junior high or middle school, as you call it now. I haven't had to worry about it because at Discovery Lab, the big kids are big kids. It's obvious. They stand next to first graders and second graders. They don't have to make out in the halls to prove that they're grown up. They don't have to dress like 21-year-olds like they do in the other schools. I see you turning your head away from me, Dr. Green, but if you haven't been to your own schools and you don't know that it exists, you should go. I don't want my students to be there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, Christine. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on Discovery Lab? Okay. First on the list to speak about Davis is Tracy Lust. And following Tracy will be Benjamin Dennis.
Hi, my name is Tracy Lust. I have a daughter who graduated from Davis 2019. She's currently a junior in college. She did the full IB diploma. My concern about the lottery system, for lack of a better way to put it, is that allowing a student to choose the high school that they want to go to is a great way to figure out what pathway they would like to be. Both Eisenhower and Davis are great schools, in my opinion. I'm very proud to have a student that went to the Yakima School District. However, my daughter was able to choose which high school she wanted to go to and the pathway that was best suited for her. By eliminating this, you're completely eliminating that choice. And I just would like to know if there are maybe some things that you could look at as options, maybe a first come, first serve basis, so that the students that really want to do the IB program, they'll get down there, they'll get registered for that program if that is their pathway. Or if they really want to do the AP classes, they'll get to Ike, they'll get registered. A first come, first serve basis to me seems much better than a lottery where you could have a student that's definitely on this pathway, but they end up over here. I also think of students that are being bused or have to take a city bus, has been what I've been led to believe, to get to a school that is very far away from where they could walk to the school that is near their neighborhood. So I'd just like some clarification, if possible, on how you decided to make this lottery system. I do understand the two schools are kind of not equally suited at this time, but maybe there are some different ways to choose which students go to which schools. And I do support Discovery Lab. I'm very sorry to see that closing as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Tracy. Benjamin Dennis.
Hello, my name is Ben Dennis. Here because, well, I had questions, but I just found found out we can't ask him. But throughout this whole process, for me personally, I knew before that my son being have an opportunity to go to Davis, I had him put down Davis and Stanton. I waited before I really started to say anything because I wanted to see what his grades were and everything else. And to come to find out that Stanton still is an alternative school. For his grades and his attendance, I know before he probably would have never walked through the doors at Stanton because they would have figured it out and got him placed where he needed to go or where he wants to be. Like I said, I apologize because I was ready to ask questions, not give a little speech, but
Please do ask your questions and the board will respond to you in writing.
Okay, well, one of the questions I have is, as a student with good grades and good attendance, will he be now, and I personally, just to say, I didn't find out about the rule that wherever you get placed, you're stuck there for the next 4 years until Friday. It was like 2:30, it was later in the evening. And so there was no way I could do anything about that. But right now, we filed an appeal, but I was kind of wondering, like, as filing an appeal for what, to get him released from Stanton? Or is it, I mean, do the grades even count? Or does it even matter? Because right now, he's stuck there and he has good grades, like I said already, and good attendance. So filing an appeal, I've done that. And along the other lines, just with some of the information that was given to me by Mr. Reno's was false. And so with that being said, what do I need to do to get my son out of that situation, period? I would go into other things, but this besides the point. But yeah, it's just crazy. To me, to know that, you know, it's basically like the way the lady put it to me was, you know, if he were to start acting out, try to be in a gang, smoke, do drug, whatever, just go the wrong direction, it'd be okay. He would get more help. But since he has a mom and dad that work and take care of him, he's a good student, and everything that he's done, he's basically being, I don't want to say just discriminated against, where he's got to stay and just like she had put, just talk to him and he should just deal with it. And for me, that doesn't sit well. That doesn't sit well with anybody. And I'm a parent first, but coach second. And, you know, I just made a statement like, I've worked for the district. I've coached at both high schools. I've worked at both high schools. She said, since I only coach, doesn't matter. And so on and so forth. But that's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Jay Hernandez and followed by Mary Arvez Cervera.
Please bear with me. I have social anxiety, so it's very not easy for me to come speak here. As you can tell in my voice, it's shaky. But as a parent, I will advocate for my son always. I'm here to talk about the whole high school transition lottery system as it's been known, because that's how my son told me his teachers presented it to him, which is very odd, very weird. I don't know, how did this happen? You guys being highly educated people, how are statistics and population numbers not consulted, not looked at, and not seen, okay, what can we do to make the schools even? I have the article written today, which, no disrespect, truly sounds like a puff piece to just protect yourselves on this choice you made. You said you took a proactive approach for the first time, but it seems like he just swung for something and that just did not land at all with parents. Why weren't parents surveyed? Why weren't kids surveyed? What would be the best option to help us alleviate the stress of high school population? We barely found out about this decision about a month, if that, before the student survey of what school they would like to attend, and a month isn't enough to adjust. We're still a close community here in Yakima. I was born and raised. My son has been in the Yakima School District his whole entire life, has fostered amazing relationships with his teachers, so much forth that this appeals process has been a joke. I wasn't even allowed to get an appeal because I have it here. He didn't fall in this criteria, which makes absolutely no sense because it's not a criteria, it's more of a first pick. Students with disabilities and self-contained special education classrooms, well understood. People, I think in the newcomers programs, which I'm assumed to believe that's an immigration program for new students, if they have relatives already going to that school, if they have family working at that school. But all this just says like, this is who gets first pick, but how else was it chosen? How is it not economic status, social status, geographical status? Even you, Mr. Green, Dr. Green, on the thing that came out today in the newspaper said that most high schools go off of geographical boundaries, but yet for some reason you decided that was not worth looking into at all. I have a young cousin who lives near Barch, Lincoln, yet he was put in Ike, which is far more than across half the city. I have a friend who works down at the district office who said a mother came in very upset because the incompetence of this lottery system put her two boys in different schools, one at Davis, one at Ike. How is that possible? Other than it's all random. I know I've heard parents talk about leaving the district because of this, and no one at the district seems to care. A grandmother came in yesterday saying that, and the people at the Family Resources Office said nothing, didn't try to help alleviate the situation or do nothing. And all this just shows that you really don't care about our students. It's just numbers to you, which is hypocritical with the whole communities and schools program you just showed us right now, who said that you look at all situations of families and make decisions and try to help them with that. But again, that just seems to not be the situation you guys are doing. But thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for your comments, Jay. Next is Mary Cervera, and she'll be followed by, I think that's the last person I have for Davis High School.
Hello, my name is Mary Cervera, parent of Stephanie Antunes, who is at Franklin Middle School. As a parent, just like Jay, I can relate. You know, we were excited about having the Zoom meeting and Mr. Green doing the Zoom meeting. Then followed by that, they send the forms and say, get them, go ahead and pick your choice. Right away, my daughter did, picked her choice. Later we found out that everybody was posting the school that were assigned. They didn't value her choice. They gave her Eisenhower. So I thought, okay, what's going on? You know, we live within minutes from Davis. My daughter has never ran a bus. You know, I work with wonderful people that they work with my time so I can drop on my daughter, because here in Yakima, you know, the safety of my daughter comes first. So then her older sister, who also graduated from Eisenhower, changed her schedule so she can pick up her sister. Because again, you know, we care and the safety of Stephanie, which is ridiculous what he's trying to say. It makes sense that, you know, she gets her first choice, which was Davis, because she can watch. She doesn't walk with safety, but her aunt arranged, because she also has relatives that go to Davis right now, and she can drop her off and pick her up. Makes sense. Also, in the past, they gave me all this run about, well, you know, her sister attended Wilson when she was in elementary, and so we chose Wilson. No, she had to go to Franklin because, again, you know, you reside at this address. So now with this, they're saying, well, no, I'm sorry, I did contact. I went to the school administration office and I spoke to somebody right away. They said, oh, Davis is closed. That's it. That was it. They didn't even want to hear me. It's closed, but you can appeal it. So we did appeal it. I also spoke to Kathy, who is the director of admissions. I spoke to her, and she also said, go ahead and write to the board of directors and go ahead and I recommend that you appeal it. We did that. We haven't received an answer yet, which makes me think that they didn't do anything because she's still in the system for Eisenhower. So I would like you guys to reconsider that, and just like we're here because we care. You know, we're here, we attend the Zoom meetings. When it comes to my daughter's education, that's the first thing. And so like Jay, I can relate. It does make a difference. And like he says, it doesn't make, it's ridiculous. I respect the choices that he read, but it doesn't make any sense. It's not fair because, she's emotionally, she feels like, they didn't validate, they didn't respect my decision. What's the point? It's not okay. And Dad is also here, and we didn't know that we're supposed to sign in. I just walked up there. So if he has an opportunity to also speak what he wants to also say. Thank you.
I have another name that was crossed out on the list. I think that's Brittany Garcia. Is there a Brittany Garcia here? Okay, that's the last name that I have on the list. If there's another person over here that wanted to speak, you're welcome to do that, and please sign in. Yes, please.
Well, Esteban Antunes, father of Stephanie Antunes, might sound too straightforward. It's my first time being in a conference like this, nothing written. Yeah, we came for Stephanie's, the lottery you guys, or how the system was set up. Appreciate it if you guys reconsider. We used to live close to, like, the area, I guess we were supposed to be, through Eisenhower, but we purchased a house which is 4 miles away from Eisenhower, and we decided Davis. But this lottery thing is way, different. I'm sure all of you guys, when you were younger, like some people mentioned, it depends on the graphic or where area you lived in. And that's what we just came here. And one thing, I mean, this out of the whole situation, I was looking in everything everybody introduced, and like I said, it's my first time here. To me, this is about money. It's about thousands. How can you guys save money? How can we, request what you guys may approve or may not approve? And I should have come to conferences like this a long time ago when my little daughter was younger. She attended Garfield, and later on we moved her to Gilbert. And it might be 8 years down the road until now that I might say it, but why not build another school? I mean, it might be out of a whole subject, but kids, if I seen that you guys introduced looking for education, kids growing up, giving them a better future. And now that I thought about it, why not give this area? I heard about the northeast of Yakima, which is Barch, Lincoln. I mean, they're doing great, and that's perfect. What about the west side? Those kids deserve a school. Maybe it's 8 years down the road. I should have said that a long time ago, but it's out of the story too. But they deserve a new school. Maybe look into that. And I know you guys are just about saving money. It is what it is. It's conferences. But thank you, and please reconsider my daughter's pick for Davis, or reconsider your guys' lottery stuff, or how did you guys set it up? I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. That's the end of the list of individuals that I have that have signed up. Is there anyone else who'd like to sign up? Yep, go ahead.
Hello, good evening. I'm here representing my brother, as many of you are advocating for your family members. As someone who graduated from LC in like 2013, I just kind of wanted to give my input of how big this decision was for me as an 8th grader. I can't even begin to explain how much it impacted me and really the path that it set me on. I was really strongly considering Ike for a really long time until, sorry, I have anxiety too. but I was really strongly considering Ike, and I had a teacher who kind of spoke to me about like all my decisions and kind of it would look like for me and what fit in my life. So the way they put it to me was that at the time I was really into band, and so they kind of told me like, okay, well, if you're hoping to go throughout that route, which I did, I went into music and I was at band at Davis for 4 years. And it was a great experience, and I wouldn't have changed it for anything. And I think the way that my brother saw that me and my sister, who did IB at Davis and just graduated last year, he kind of saw the path that we took. And my mom went to Davis too, so it would be amazing for him to, you know, get that switch over. But he sees the path that we took, and he sees all the decisions we made. And I think he, for the first time, was really excited to kind of follow our path. And he's had a really hard time, especially during the pandemic, which I'm sure everyone here has had the toughest time. And I think making a decision like this was really rash. And I think you guys should definitely reconsider, especially for a decision that seems like was flipped one day to another. Maybe just for this year, kind of go back to the old system, and then hopefully like next year, come up with a better system that would accommodate a lot more people and not just throw everyone into a new routine of daily life that is really affecting a lot of people. So I hope you guys can reconsider it and reach out to a lot of these families and make that switch for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you please share your name with us?
My name is Avelina Contreras.
Avelina, okay, thank you. And if you would please sign in as well so we can have your contact information to respond to you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He's asking if he could please finish his thoughts because he ran out of time in his first section.
Oh, we really like to keep all of the comments to 3 minutes so everyone has that same opportunity to speak. You're certainly welcome to contact the board via email, and that email address,
It's schoolboard@ysd7.org.
schoolboard@ysd7.org. Well, thank you all so much for being here and providing all of your comments. It's rare, to be honest, it's rare for the board to get this much community input. We appreciate you being here and sitting through the entire board meeting and sharing your comments with us. As a reminder, we will be responding to each person who shared comments with us within a week. So thank you again, and we'll continue on with our meeting at this point. And that actually brings us to the end of our meeting. Superintendent Green, do we have a need for executive session?
We do not have a need for an executive session.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.